Hey there, planners. Today I'm going to show you how to make these adorable little custom-made sticky notes to go in your planner. It is super simple once I figured out kind of the steps to do it, and I'm going to share it with you so that you can do this too. So go grab your planners and let's get planning. All right, so the first step in making your own sticky notes is to develop your sticky note printing template. I am using Microsoft Word, but really any Word format or document tool would be useful here. So what I've done is created a template that will allow me to, first of all, design my own sticky notes in Word, but then also to help me print out. I will use this as a guide to help me print out my sticky notes. So let me flip over to a blank document, and I'm actually just going to walk you through step by step how I set this up. All right, so the first step is I'm going to come over here to View, and I'm going to add grid lines in. Just adding the grid lines into the view helps me be able to see where things are laid out. All right, I know my sticky notes are 3 by 3. And I will leave a link to the sticky notes that I am using to print on. They are just basic white sticky notes. I got a large pack from Amazon and very good, well priced. So I will leave a link to those below. So I'm going to go to Insert, and I'm going to insert a shape. And that shape is going to be square. And then I am going to draw a square. Now, I'm not really worried when I draw it about the dimensions or the size, because I can come over here under the shape format heading and I can manipulate the size. So I'm going to make the size 3 inches high by 3 inches wide. And that gives me my sticky note shape. I'm going to go up here to Shape Fill, and I'm going to say No Fill, and I'm going to make the outline black. Now you can change this later if you want to have the outline be a little lighter so that when you're cutting out or printing your sticky notes, it doesn't print actually on your sticky notes. But for right now, just for the purposes of creating the template, I'm going to leave it black. So there's my first sticky note. Now all I need to do is to copy and paste this same shape and put it on the template as many times as will fit. In my Word document, which is very standard margins in a letter size format, I can fit 6 sticky notes on this template. So I'm just going to put these out side by side, giving some space between them. And the grid lines really help here. They help me make sure everything is lined up. It's easier to print that way. So I'm just lining them up on here. All right, so now I've got my 6 sticky notes pasted down and all lined up in order. And now I can save this as my sticky note template. Okay, now that I have my template created, it's time to get creative. So I'm going to come up here to View and remove the grid lines because I don't need them now that I have my template laid out. So where can you get ideas for sticky notes? Well, first of all, look at the type of sticky notes that you write most often. Those are probably some templates that you could use. One that I use very frequently is the appointment sticky note, which you saw at the beginning. These are the ones I made because I really do quite frequently hop on the phone and end up with an appointment, for a doctor's office or, a haircut, things like that. And I end up writing this information down on a sticky note and popping it in my planner until I have time to actually get it in the right place. Well, this is all the information I need, so I thought, why not go ahead and build a template for this so that I can easily capture this information when I'm on the phone. Let's say that you need a meal planning sticky note, just a quick reference guide for what you're going to be eating this week. We can easily build that. So I'm going to start by inserting a text box into the shape that we have. So I'm going to click draw a text box, and then I just draw one out here. I like to change the margins inside the text box so that there's no border or barrier, and that just helps me from a sizing standpoint. The way I do that is to right click on the shape, go to Format Shape. I get this little pop-out box here. I click on the text options box, and then you see the margins inside the text box. I just like to take everything to 0. That way I don't have any extra space in my text box. Pick your font. One of my favorite fonts lately has been the Modern Love Grunge and the Modern Love Caps. So I'm going to pick one of those. And then I'm just going to write weekly meals. Once I have that written in there, I can play around with, kind of how I want it to appear, the size, whether there's any spacing after or before the words, and that gives me the heading for my sticky note. So I'm just going to bring it over here to where I want it. And you can see right now, if I leave this where it is, it's got a line around it. Well, I don't really want that line. That option is again over here under shape options and line. I can say no line, and that gives me the heading without the line on it. All right, now I just want a space to write Monday through Sunday. What are the meals we're having? So I'm going to keep this really simple. I want to use the same shape format, so I'm going to copy and paste in these words and just change this to the days of the week. And I want them to be just a little smaller, so I'll bring it down a bit and maybe make it bold. And I'm going to do this for each day of the week. All right, so now I've got my days of the week. What I feel like I need, and I'll say you can play around a little bit with the spacing. For me, I'm not so concerned that everything is very evenly spaced. This is my sticky notes. So, but remember, you can always turn back on the grid lines if you want to make sure everything is evenly spaced. So for me, what I think I need are some lines. I need some lines to help guide me and just be able to write in. So I'm going to go up here to Shapes, and I'm going to insert a line. And I'm going to start just with a basic line. I'm going to go up here to the outline and change the color to black. And I think I want it to be a little bit thicker, so I'm going to change the weight to be a little bit thicker. And then I'm actually going to move that in here and add lines beside each of the days. One little trick that I've learned is sometimes playing with lines can make them crooked, but you can always come over here and use the actual sizing tool to help you get the lines the right size without manipulating too much the line itself on the page. So I'm going to copy and paste this image across all of the days of the week. All right, so now you can see I have my days of the week, I have my lines, I have my heading, and I think that's pretty much it. I could get a little fancy and maybe put in here some sort of icon. If you go up to Insert, you've got an option for icons, and let's take a quick look at icons for food and see what options we have. Maybe I just want to do like a dinner plate. So let me go ahead and insert that. And it shows up over here, but that is not where I want it. You can always change the position to be able to move it around a little bit more flexibly. And I'm going to put that right there. And now I've got my little icon. And of course, you can use anything you want. But I've got my little icon here for my weekly meal plan. Okay, so now I have my sticky note created, but it's only here. I don't want to spend the time to go through each of those steps in every one of these sticky notes. So I am going to come over here on the Home tab, drop down that menu for Select, and click Select Objects. I'm going to hold the Control key down while I click on each of the individual items that I've added to the sticky note. What I'm doing is making sure everything I've added is selected. So just take the time, and this, this might take a minute to do depending on how complex your design is. Make sure that you also select that outside item. And then I'm going to come over here to the Shape Format tab, and there's an option for grouping. I'm going to drop that box down, and I'm going to group everything. So now that is one image, and you can see all I have to do is click on this guy, and the whole thing gets highlighted. So it's all together as one complete image. And I am going to copy and paste these down and move them over to where the other sticky notes are. And one trick, you can get rid of the image that you have and move this over and put it in its place. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for each of these items. All right, so now I've got my page of weekly meal sticky notes. So the next step is to save this. I would save this as a sticky note titled Weekly Meals, and so I can always come back to this and print some more if I need them. And then it's time to print. So the way I handle printing is I would print out a Word document on a letter-sized piece of paper just like this. So I'm going to get a piece of paper that has, each of these 6 boxes on it. Then I take my sticky notes that I want to print on, and I just put them directly over these boxes. And that helps me line it up perfectly for where I know it's going to print. I put that piece of paper with the sticky notes on top of the printed boxes back into the printer, and I print again. And I'm going to have these lovely templates for my weekly meals printed right on the sticky note. Be careful when you are printing. Make sure you understand whether your page needs to be face down, which way is the top side, because we don't want upside down sticky notes. So you might have to take a couple of trial runs to figure that out. But once you figure it out, then you know exactly how to print your sticky notes. All right, hopefully you are seeing the possibilities when it comes to being able to create your own sticky notes and print sticky notes. I wanted to take a minute just to show you some of the other designs I have created. So here's a sticky note that I created for prayer request. I actually created this for myself and my oldest daughter. We put these in our planners and our Bible journals. Inside our Bible, and just jot down when we hear about a prayer request or a friend in need, a loved one in need, we jot it down, and this just keeps it in front of us. This I made by taking an image and putting it in the background, and then I put a transparent square over top for the middle section, and then just added in my wording, my lettering there. So very simple to make. The image I got off Pixabay. I really liked the colors and design, so putting that inside the square and then putting the transparent note on top. Another example is my youngest daughter wanted to be able to put some sticky notes in her school books, in her textbooks, for where there's a hint from the teacher about where a quiz or exam question might be. So we just said, Ella, this is important, and she can jot down her responses there. One other thing I wanted to show you was a template that Peanuts Planner Co. offers on their Facebook group for free. There is a monthly template. These are the 2021 months in sticky note form. So you would do exactly the same thing. And look how cute this is. Think about how you could use this in your planner. And there's actually quite a bit of free templates if you just do a search for free sticky note printables. You can find all kinds of templates, and now you know how to print them. I really hope you found this video helpful. I hope you enjoy all of the options of making your own sticky notes, and either functional or artistic. You can do all kinds of things with this, and it is super cheap to buy just the plain white sticky notes. So I hope this is valuable to you and you find all kinds of creative ways to use this. If you got value out of this video, please give it a thumbs up and let me know. Leave any questions in the comments below and I'll be happy to answer them. Subscribe to Planning Annie for more content like this, and as always, thanks for planning with me.